that theme of looking ahead and taking challenges head on. I love this story out of entrepreneur.com, talking about this entrepreneur who was quick in the headline to say aha moments are a dime a dozen. It's who's taking that big chance, who's plowing ahead to get it done. Dan, some pretty cool things here, especially when she talks about doubling the size of her business in 2020 of all years. What were your thoughts?
Yeah. So in this article, it talks about Steph Clymer, who is the founder, this entrepreneurial powerhouse. I'm going to call her a powerhouse that details the pivot. So the article really does detail, asks her questions. It's a good Q&A article. And in the article, Steph details the pivots that transformed her retail business. This is a 40-year-old mom of 3, and like I say, a retail entrepreneurial powerhouse. She opened her first maternity store in 2006 called Expecting, and 10 years later, in 2016, she rebranded to Shop Common Thread. So Shop Common Thread is now the brand that she sells under. And when asked why she changed, she said, "We no longer sold maternity clothing, and I could not stand to hear one more woman ask, 'Isn't that store for pregnant women?'" And a lot of us are going to go through this as we shift our assortments. And this is what happens in a store when you start to steer your assortment. You pick a label, a brand that is tied exclusively to one vertical. You're faced with this exact same challenge that Steph was. She no longer sold maternity clothing, and Expecting sort of broadcast a message of we're for pregnant moms. Yep. And that wasn't the case. And so after that rebrand, to get away from Expecting and onto Common Thread, they started to gain significant market share. They outgrew their existing space, and in 2019, she signed a lease on the space next door. And in January 2020, like a few of us, opened and literally doubled her business in size to begin 2020. So you're open in January, and March you close, and you have to quickly pivot and realign. And in that, since that, fatal 2 months, that wasn't fatal for Steph, in that 2-month period that was, virtual lockdown everywhere for them, they found another business, they found another gap, another opportunity, and rented a warehouse and created a brand called Heart and Twine, and it's a custom gift business. And so I'm going to encourage everybody, we'll share a copy of this article, a link to this Q&A article from entrepreneur.com in our podcast, in our newsletter.
Yep.
You got to click on it and read these great stories. We can be inspired. And what I loved most about this article really wasn't the pivot or the growth or the success, but rather how she defined the word entrepreneur. She defines an entrepreneur as someone who dares greatly, someone who sees opportunity and then takes action. Entrepreneurs take risks and sometimes fall or fail in a big way, but we learn from the experience and then try again. Entrepreneurs are vulnerable leaders, visionaries, dreamers, and hustlers. And this is just way to go, Steph. Really, really well done. Loved this story. And even her definition, we're vulnerable, we're visionaries, we take everything to task, we dream, and we hustle. That's entrepreneurialism.
Do you a big part of that entrepreneur side, that, removing that fear and just being ready to take a chance, but taking that chance knowing that, okay, this might fail, but I'll dust off and keep going again. You seen that a lot, Dan, or is that something you'd like to see more of with
Well, I want to see more of it. I have seen lots of it, been there, done that myself, failed at lots of things. But it's our fear, not fear of failure, it is pending failure that makes us re-examine over and over and over again, re-envision, redevelop, iterate over and over and over again. And I'm not ever afraid to fail, not especially now after having failed more than once.
Yeah.
You know what the recovery looks like. You know how to climb back to the top of your barrel. You know how to overcome it, and you learn from every single setback. And we see it, lots of times in retail. I mean, look at Target. Target, what a great example in Canada of failing in a big, big way. Not really understanding. Now, are they ever going to come back? Probably not. Probably not. But it was a good example for everyone else on the sideline to learn from that failure. Which, as entrepreneurs, we're always watching what's going on. We're always interested in the happening, what's happening. And you've got to take, let's go back to the first article at Pops. If you want big rewards, you've got to take big risks. You got to be prepared to put it on the line to get a reward.
Right on.